Are you still craving that brownie? Have you ever wondered why when you have a craving and you actually eat the food you are craving, it doesn't go away? Maybe that's not what your body needs. Craving a brownie doesn't necessarily mean your body wants a brownie. Confused yet? Yeah, our brains are kind of funky like that. They like to play games. Today, we're talking about intuitive eating and how intuitive eating helps us answer those messages, improve gut health, and ultimately reduce cravings and other messages simply because we now understand exactly what our bodies are asking for. Buckle in, we got some wild stuff to talk about today. Once we hit the sensitive part, I will give you a little heads up so you can put headphones on, earbuds in, just in case sensitive ears are listening. Sound good? All right, let's do this. And intuitive eating today. What's all that mean? Well, I believe that our body tells us what we need, how we need to eat. It gives us all of our signals. When you take a regular biology class, human biology class, they talk about how we have cravings and what those cravings indicate. So scientifically, it even proves that if we know how to listen to the signals that our body is giving us and interpret them in a way that our emotions are not, hey girl, that our emotions are not so intertwined into the food that we eat, the dishes that we eat, and what we need in that exact moment of time when we're experiencing a craving or something with our sweat, our pee, a poop, saliva. That's the part that I'm telling you, we're going to get there. We have a lot to go over with that. And that's where, hold on. I need to remember that I love Brian to death. I do. But I swear, you guys, he and I have the knack of testing each other right at the wrong time. Like, he always texts when I'm doing a video, recording a video, right? I always text him when he's in the middle of some important meeting or a phone call or something that is crucial to not be interrupted. It's a thing. We're just intertwined, and that's just how it's going to be, apparently. But that being said, that means that I need to make sure that I put my noise off when I do these. All right, I had some notes down, so that's what I'm pulling up right now is the notes that I have written down, because y'all know I talk and talk and talk, and I want to make sure that what I am saying, I don't get distracted. All right, so organized, here we go. All right, so gut health and intuitive eating, right? As we were just talking about, intuitive eating, science always proves that if we know how to listen to our body and we know how to interpret without emotional intervention, what does that mean? That means that we are able to look at a craving or some other signal, sweat, pee, poop, saliva. Eyes are another thing, hair, skin. If we're able to look at those things and determine, okay, this is what I'm experiencing, so this is what that means, then we know, and over time we learn, this is part of practicing health and practicing healthy habits and strategies. Once we understand what our cravings mean, then the minute we have them, we can start actively saying to ourselves, okay, this signal means this, so we need to eat this. Just as an example, chocolate means you're short magnesium, dark chocolate. Can you eat dark chocolate to satisfy that craving? Sure, but little known fact, if you eat that dark chocolate, it may not be enough. So while you're craving chocolate, especially if it's overwhelming, your body's craving magnesium. So what that means, and I have a chart right here, I'm going to actually share it into the group. I've used it for years. It is a fabulous chart to have on your phone, to have handy on the refrigerator if you spend a lot of time at home. because when you have a craving, you can just reference back to it, okay? It means nuts, seeds, vegetables, and fruits. Bananas, peanut butter, things like that, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are amazing in this situation, you guys. Things like that will help satisfy that craving whether you eat chocolate or you're not. Because the truth be told, if you eat dark chocolate while you're craving it, you might actually be craving a milk chocolate. Most people in the United States prefer milk chocolate. So your brain knows you eat milk chocolate. So it's going to crave milk chocolate. It's not going to crave dark chocolate. Despite the fact that if you crave chocolate, dark chocolate is actually a much better, much healthier option. It's actually a healthier option overall. But some people don't like it. I mean, it's food. We don't all like the same foods. So chocolate's one of those foods that I love mentioning in Cravings because so many people do enjoy eating chocolate, but for the most part, they're looking at milk chocolate. Eating milk chocolate when you have a chocolate craving does not satisfy the craving. Have you ever had a chocolate craving that was so strong you had to cave in, you had to have that chocolate? So you did, but the craving didn't go away? That's why. Because what your body actually needed was magnesium. And it's kind of a twisted, messed up way to give us signals, but it is what it is. All right. So I kind of went down a rabbit hole with the craving. So we're going to go into what each of these cravings mean, and I'll come back to what gut health is and how it's connected to intuitive health, because we're on the craving path now. So let's do it. All right. So now when you talk sweets, we are talking brownies, we are talking chocolate chip cookies, pastries, lattes, mochas, anything that you eat that is like a favorite sweet, so something you eat a lot or something that you just like, those are the foods that you are going to crave when your body craves sweet. Now if you think about it, sweet, energy, right? But there's some micronutrients that you actually need, and it's the same thing with the chocolate. All of these things follow the same rule. If you do not satisfy the craving, what your body actually needs, the micronutrients it actually needs, you will continue to experience that craving. It will come back time and time and time and time and time and again. Literally, you finish your indulgence, you have a slice of, a brownie, whatever. I love brownies and cookies, so I always go back to those. Brownies, cookies, and ice cream. So if you hear that a lot, that's why. Those are my 3 faves. Your body craves these sweets, you go and you have it, you enjoy it. It is delicious, it is amazing, great, right? But you're still craving sweet. Conventional weight loss peeps want you to believe that the reason you're craving sweets is it's habit. For the most part, habit is a very minute part of it. Habit only applies to the foods that your brain tells you crave. It doesn't apply to the actual craving itself. Okay? So when you look at sweets, the micronutrients you need: chromium, carbon, phosphorus, sulfur, tryptophan. How many of you thought turkey when I said tryptophan? Do you know that spinach, sweet potatoes, and raisins have higher contents of tryptophan than turkey? Plant foods. Crazy! Now you could have grapes that would still satisfy this, because ultimately when you have a sweet craving, if you have a piece of fresh fruit, regardless of what it is, it does not matter. It will satisfy all of those. Cruciferous foods are very high in sulfur. Eggs, very high in sulfur. Okay, so that's why with cruciferous foods, with some beans, not all of them, but some beans, what you want, yeah, you didn't know that, huh? What you want is to make sure that you have a serving. Do not overdo it with cruciferous foods. Do not overdo it with eggs, because all of a sudden you are clearing rooms, but you sound like or you smell like a volcano. Have you ever noticed that? The gas that you release smells like carbon monoxide. Or not carbon monoxide, because that doesn't have a smell. It smells like charcoal almost. That's why. It's sulfur. And our bodies still need a certain amount of sulfur, but it's like anything else. Everything in moderation. So if you're feeling like you're craving sweets and you don't have any fresh food in the house, but you have, I don't know, some cauliflower or broccoli in the frozen section of your refrigerator, grab some, have half a cup. I don't care if you put cheese on it at that point, but that will satisfy the craving and allow you to go on with your day. All right, bread, pasta, the comfort foods, potatoes, those yummy, just like comfort foods. It's wintertime, so a lot of us are eating comfort foods just because it's cold. Our body wants heat, it wants warmth. All right, and that's a completely different subject. We'll talk seasons in a week or so. What breads and pastas, potatoes, those comfort foods indicate is that you're low in nitrogen. So, nitrogen is a key component of plants. Specifically, plants that create phosphorus and chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is green. See where I'm going with this? What that means is your nitrogen craving, the craving for breads and pastas and things like that. To satisfy that, you need to eat leafy greens. Dark leafy greens, as green as possible, you name it. All right, I need to go put water in the dog's bowl. Oops. But it gets a little finicky, and you guys are about to hear the water bowl go rolling through the kitchen. All right, so what's next? Well, oily fatty foods. So French fries, fried chicken, things like that, right? And it doesn't matter. I mean, I think down here they have like fried okra. I don't eat it, so I know it's weird. I'm picky as shit, I'm telling you guys. All right, so fried anything, right? Greasy foods, you're craving all of that. What that means is that you're actually craving calcium. It means you're low in calcium. So for those of us going through menopause, perimenopause, you're trying to recover from an illness, from an injury, from pregnancy, from fertility, from anything really, you're going to crave calcium because calcium is one of those minerals that help you recover. They help you heal. It helps our bones, it helps our joints, it helps our eyes, it helps our skin, it helps our hair. It's a key core component, or it's a core component, there we go. So when you're craving calcium, it goes back to the dark leafy greens. You want the cruciferous foods, you want the dark leafy greens. Plums have a high amount of calcium in them. So whether you're eating plums or you're eating dates, you're getting a high volume of that. So it's an option. And you know, a lot of times when you crave fatty foods, sometimes you'll crave the sweet at the same time. Kind of intertwines a little bit. So if you think about it, plums and dates are very, very sweet, right? You would satisfy both at the same time. And they can give you the micronutrients to satisfy your sweets craving, as well as micronutrients satisfying your fatty foods. Now, my coffee drinkers, I have one for you. Bet you didn't think coffee was on the list, huh? It is. All right. You're craving coffee or tea. We have some tea drinkers in here, but for the most part, majority of the people in this group are like me and addicted to coffee. And yes, I say addicted because I could drink it all day long, even though it is not healthy for me. And none of y'all need to see me on that much caffeine. Brian is a big proponent or big promoter of not giving me too much caffeine. I bounce off the walls and my brain does not focus. All right, so what does it mean? It means you're low in phosphorus, sulfur, salt, and iron. So how many of you have had those pop up on your lab report? Now, I know with iron, you can always get iron from red meat, but I prefer to get it from plants. Legumes have a high volume of phosphorus for iron. Great food to include in anything that you make. They taste meaty when you put them all together. I'm telling you guys, if you have not had legumes, you really have to try it. There is a recipe that a friend gave me many years ago, and this was kind of my introduction to plant-based foods, right? Plant-based dinners. She and her husband were struggling to pay bills, and they had just had their son, and their son was, I think when I went to visit, he was 2. And I mean, he's like 20 now and in college, and oh my God, I feel very old when I see pictures of him. But what they did was they took legumes, drizzled some honey over, and took bacon bits, which I've done bacon bits from animal products. I have done bacon bits that were made from eggplant, which if you guys have not had eggplant bacon, you gotta try it. I am telling you, whoo, it is so good. All right, so you sprinkle the bacon bits over the top so it creates kind of a crusty cover. You have the legumes in there, you have just enough water to cover them, and you bake it. Put it in a baking dish, you bake it. And you bake it for a good hour. I think it was about 350. That's what I cook it on now. Cover it, bake it at 350. It comes out and you put it over rice, and you can sprinkle, I have sprinkled Monterey blend from McCormick. I've sprinkled that into it. I have sprinkled some taco seasoning into it. Pretty much whatever I'm craving that day. Old Bay. Old Bay actually tastes a little weird in this, but I have done it. That dish right there would give you and satisfy all the cravings we just talked about. It's easy, it is quick, it makes a shit ton of food. So I am telling you, our family of 4 would probably eat for a good 3 days on that with 1 bag of lentils. They're like, or legumes. Yeah, lentils. We're talking about lentils. Sorry, guys. Brain fart for a minute. So with lentils, it's one of those foods that they're so tiny, you could legit put them in just about anything just to give you a little boost in fiber, a little boost in your calcium, your phosphorus, your magnesium. That's another one. Zinc. Zinc's another one. It doesn't have a lot of zinc in there. But that's one way to get that in. Now the additional micronutrients you're looking for when you're craving coffee, phosphorus, sulfur, and salt, dark leafy greens. Don't go sprinkle salt all over your food. No. If you want, use a little bit of Himalayan salt. You can just put some in your water. Sometimes you'll get a craving for coffee when you're dehydrated because your electrolytes are low. So lemonade with a sprinkle of salt. So if you've gotten this far, do you see a pattern? Cruciferous foods, dark leafy greens, fresh fruit, legumes, plant-based foods. So if you have a wide variety of plant-based foods into your diet, you can satisfy a lot of cravings. So we've gotten through coffee, nuts, seeds, takes care of your phosphorus, it takes care of your magnesium, takes care of your, not tryptophan, need to make sure I watch my mouth. Nitrogen. So if you've taken biology, and you understand, or botany or anything related to plants, if you grow plants and you understand they release, nitrogen, oxygen, if you understand that flow of gases through plants, then you know innately that, okay, these plants give me these minerals, right? So now the reason I'm spending so much time on that is because now we're getting down into salty foods and carbonated drinks. Those salty foods, you're actually looking at specifically chloride and silicone. And I know you're thinking silicone like, the stuff you use in your kitchen, right? Mm-mm. This is food-based. Yes, it actually does create what we use in our kitchen, the things for baking that don't melt, cups, stuff like that. Leah, stop it. However, our bodies do need a small percentage of silicone, okay? They need the mineral. They need the micronutrient that is out in the plants. Does not need silicone like what we use in our oven, okay? Big difference. What food contains silicone? Nuts. Cashews are pretty high in it. Seeds, so chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, things like that. If you make bread at home, if you put chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, things like that into your breads, a lot of times it'll create that nutty flavor, but it doesn't do a lot as far as changing the texture of your bread. Thank you, Kinsey. Thank you, Kinsey. All right. Carbonated drinks, calcium. So with calcium, if you're craving a hamburger and french fries, typically you also crave a soda or a beer, right? Have you experienced that? You notice that they're always connected? A lot of these signals are typically connected. So because of the foods that you need to eat to obtain those micronutrients, a lot of times you get multiple cravings at one time. All right, guys, for PMS, zinc. Zinc is phenomenal at helping our body stay regulated, stay in balance, minimize cravings, or minimize cramping, headaches, things like that. Pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are like, oh my gosh, the highest plant-based food in protein and zinc. So if you're a vegan and you're finding that you're not getting enough calories in your day or enough protein in your day, start eating pumpkin seeds. It makes a big difference. All right, so cravings, just one part of our signals. Our eyes, our hair, our skin, all come into play. So when you're looking at intuitive eating, the reason cravings and signals are so crucial, and understanding what they are is so crucial, and what they scientifically mean, not what your brain, the pleasure center of your brain wants you to think it means, is because when you take this philosophy of I'm going to eat based on what my body tells me to do, what my body is saying, you can actually obtain a healthier body, a healthier self, mind, body, and soul by learning how to listen to your body. Some of us are able to do it on our own. We're able to figure it out on our own. For those of you who are not able to do that, that's why I have a job. This is where I come in, is teaching how to respect your body by listening, by understanding what signals mean. And when you start in a place where your body is overwhelmed and you're sick and you've been sick, or you get sick when you eat foods and you don't know why and you haven't figured out what it is, a lot of times you get so overwhelmed that now you're not able to think. I could easily sit in front of anybody and say, okay, so you're experiencing this, this, and this. Here's what it means. Go look at what you're eating. Go look at what you're consuming, whether it's physical mastication or, smoothies, whatever. Go look at it and tell me what you think you need to add, what you maybe need to take away, or replace. So instead of the French fries, what do you replace it with? Here's a little toddler temper tantrum swap. Take your French fry and swap it for zucchini fries, for green bean fries, for, you could do fried tempura broccoli. You're still craving the fried food, but now you get to satisfy the pleasure center and the needs all at the same time. 2 for 1. With intuitive eating, the reason intuitive eating is so helpful for our gut is because our gut is kind of like the center of our universe. Our internal ecosystem starts with our gut. If your gut has any dysfunction whatsoever, any imbalance, it is not going to be able to digest food and metabolize it very well, which is how a lot of people develop sensitivities. If you overload your intestines with one molecule or another, okay, so one micronutrient or another, dude, I'm going to totally put you in timeout. Stop it. All right, so when you overload your body with one micronutrient or another, what ultimately ends up happening is you overload your digestion system. You overload the process. Your digestive system is your gut. So when someone says gut health, what they actually mean is the digestive system. Many people actually mean digestive and elimination system. For me, gut health means digestion. The elimination system is separate and secondary, mostly because if you have an issue in your gut, in your digestive system, you are also going to have an issue with the elimination system. And that's just because they're intertwined and one leads to the other. That's it. When you talk digestive system, you're talking about your esophagus, your stomach, and your intestines, and all the components that go along with that. At some point, we're actually going to have a deep dive into the vagus nerve. And I know people pronounce it multiple different ways, but it confuses me to pronounce it any other way. So the vagus nerve is one of those control centers. A lot of times what happens when you eat straight up sugar, your body diverts it directly to the liver. It doesn't go in the stomach. When your body is craving certain micronutrients and you're not listening to the signals and you're not eating or living a healthy lifestyle in an intuitive manner, then what happens is the cravings continue to come, right? And after 3 days, you can establish a new habit. And those cravings that were cravings and signals at the beginning are now not cravings. They're what your body expects to be fed. So it is crucial for just a simple, easy, healthy lifestyle. Not overwhelming, nothing drastic. You're not starving yourself. You're not giving in to overindulging, but you are allowing yourself to eat the foods that you enjoy, the foods that you crave, as long as you meet the needs of your body. That is intuitive eating. The actual definition, and I found this definition, I love it. So I'm gonna put it up in words right here. It is trusting your inner voice to make health choices. I focus on diet because I think everything in our world starts with what we feed our body, what we put onto our body. What we consume is 80% of that. Right? So, if we listen to our bodies, if we address those cravings, then we're going to have a healthier body, a healthier self, right? Brain operates more effectively. Your memory is better. Your eyesight is better. Your functionality is better. Your movement is better. If you're laying in bed and feeling like you can't move, people who are diagnosed with fibromyalgia and a lot of the painful autoimmune conditions, they start in a place where they literally cannot physically get out of bed. Shifting a diet so that they address the needs of their body and learning how to calm all the screams that they're hearing, because when your body's screaming at you, you can't hear the little whispers. You can't hear what it actually needs. And that's where somebody like me comes in to help. Once you figure out what those little whispers are and what your body actually needs, then you can quiet the screaming. And you can get up out of bed finally, because your energy will come back. Your brain will start functioning again. You will no longer feel like you have this cloud and this fog up in here that is preventing you from thinking logically, from operating, from doing anything more than just surviving. Now, in a case like that, it is important to look at other areas, other signals, because you're not going to hear the cravings. Your cravings are just they're going to be thrown at you like a firework going off, coming at you. That's what's going to happen. When you're that sick, it's just like it just keeps coming, and you want to duck and dive, but there's so much coming at you all at once, you don't know where it's safe. So that's when it's crucial to kind of look at other things, to look at your skin. So when your skin is dewy, when it is not poofy like mine is, but you know, toddlers, whatever. Eventually I won't look like I'm so tired all the time. They'll be sleeping through the night. I'll be sleeping through the night. It's a timing thing. Dry skin. If you notice that your skin is dry. So here's something. I'm a little dehydrated. You know how I can tell? Pinch. It stays and takes a while. If you're not dehydrated, and see how it still hasn't gone down? If you are hydrated, you pinch your skin and it immediately comes back. Easy way to tell. When you are hydrated, do you know it helps you look younger? Because your skin is dewy and it's lucid and it's able to bounce back and just kind of flow, right? And it doesn't matter what size you are. Hydrated is hydrated. Everybody is a different size. Everybody's healthy, happy weight is a completely different size. This is why I don't deal with weight. When we look at weight loss, we look at health. We improve health, which improves everything else. And it takes your body to the place that it feels healthiest and happiest. Works every single time. All right. What else? Yay, Shauna. Your eyes. White eyes, right? The whites around your eyes should be white. They should not be yellow. Yellow indicates some liver issues. With your skin, if you have a yellow tone, and it is not your natural undertone, keep that in mind, then you want to look at anything affecting your liver. Sugar. That's what that means. Somehow, some way you are getting too much sugar into your body and it's overwhelming your liver. So you want to cut back on that. That means straight up plain old sugar, sweetened foods. Be careful with fruits. If you are having issues with your liver, back off a little bit. Make sure you're having 4 servings, but maybe not more than that. And a serving of fruit is literally what can fit in your hand. So half an apple, half an orange, half a grapefruit, not the whole fruit. The whole fruit is 1 serving. So if you have 2 apples in a day, or an apple and an orange, you have gotten your fruits in for the day. Simple, huh? All right, so now here's the part, full disclaimer, we are gonna get into some gross stuff right now, all right? So, if this is the place where you walk away, okay. We're going to talk about pee. We're going to talk about poop. And I absolutely love this topic, just so you know. All right. So here's the big thing with with pee and with poop. When you are healthy, you do not clear a bathroom. You do not clear the house because you stunk up the bathroom. There is minimal odor. There's going to be odor because effectively what you're doing is you are evacuating. I have my chart in here, so I want to make sure I have that up and I say it correctly. You're effectively evacuating the waste product of the foods that you consumed. That's what's happening, right? So there's going to be a minimal odor. It should not leave you in the bathroom for 20 minutes trying to go, and you really shouldn't have much of an odor. You shouldn't need air spray. You shouldn't need poo-pourri, which I actually have in my house, by the way. Because I have people that come over, and if you have a party weekend, guess what's going to happen? What you put in your body is going to stink up the house. A couple of other things with poop, and I'm starting with the most gross, just because a lot of people, it's like pulling off a Band-Aid. We're going to get this out of the way right now. Certain foods will taint the color and odor of your poop. Beets, licorice, very dark leafy greens, so things like Swiss chard and kale, collard greens, things like that. The darker the green, the very dark green vegetables, they tend to just taint the color. When you have a charcoal tablet, so you have an exposure and then you take a charcoal tablet, even if you just have one, or if you do charcoal lemonade or anything like that inside of a cleanse, your poop's going to be black and it's going to be hard and dense. There's nothing wrong. It is just the side effect of having that charcoal tablet. It's a side effect of eating licorice. It's a side effect of eating beets. Beets change the color and the odor of everything. Your sweat, your pee, and your poop. All right, so let's talk color with poop, because this is important, you guys. You can automatically tell something is wrong when you poop. I need to move something. All right. So, if you are overwhelmed with signals anywhere else, focus on this. You should be pooping 1 to 3 times a day. It's just like a baby. You eat, you poop. That's how the human body is supposed to work. We eat, our body needs to make room, we poop. Now there's room for the food that you just put in your body. So it's a cyclical process that constantly runs and constantly moves. Doesn't stagnate, doesn't hold up, right? We all know if you don't poop for long enough and you're constipated for long enough, that it can create a septic situation internally, right? A septic inner ecosystem. Granted, that's drastic, but so if you haven't pooped in 36 to 48 hours, it is time to take action, either medication, doctor, whatever the case may be, because your body should be cycling through. If you are not having this happen, and if this has been an issue for a very long time, you and I need to have a private chat and go through the foods that you were eating, go through what is happening in your life health-wise, externally, internally, so that we can get you fixed up and on at least a healthier path, because this in particular can cause a significant amount of issues. Okay? Life-threatening issues. We don't want that for any of us. And there's easy fixes. So if this is something that you're dealing with, let's chat. And let's chat quick. So DM me, let's get on the books. All right, so let's talk color. As far as density goes, if it's too dense, it's gonna fall to the ground. If it's too light, it's gonna float. You want something that's about the middle, right? Comes out easily, you're not in the bathroom for 20 minutes, you sit down, your body reflects action, poop, poop, you're done, peace out. That simple. That quick. All right. Now, colors. Green. And I mean green. It means that the waste product is moved through your GI tract a little too quickly. And this is the scientific explanation. The bile did not have a chance to disintegrate during metabolism. So you're expelling bile along with waste product is effectively what's happening. This can mean that you don't have enough fiber foods that are not scrubby brushes. It means you have more scrubby brushes. You don't have enough grains. Difference. A lot of green leafy vegetables are going to be more scrubby brushes. Dense vegetables, grains, things of that nature, starches, they're going to be bulking foods. So what you're missing is some bulking foods to help slow down the scrubby brush. Guys, all right, so what that means is you have been consuming too many dark leafy greens, maybe too much fruit and vegetables, but typically it means too many dark and leafy greens. And yes, it is entirely possible to eat too many dark leafy greens. It's entirely possible to eat too much of anything, any food whatsoever. All right, so the easy fix when you see green poop is to go ahead and eat more grains and potatoes so that we can balance this out a little bit more. Maybe cut back on the dark leafy greens. Look at how much you're eating. Maybe you're eating a healthy volume of it, which is 1 to 3 cups. You should have about 3 cups of vegetables every day. Break it down however you want, but 3 cups of vegetables. Eat the rainbow, please. That's the healthiest way that you can do it. If we're looking at 3 cups, that's 1 cup per meal if you eat 3 meals. That's easy. 1 cup. All right, so moving on. Yellow is a cause for concern. If your poop is yellow, it can indicate something going on with your gallbladder. There's an imbalance in your gallbladder. Sometimes a simple hormone adjustment can help. Sometimes just a simple supplement, a nutritional supplement. Maybe there's something your body's not absorbing in the food that you eat. It can help. But if you see yellow poop, it means you need labs. You want to know exactly what is happening because a gallbladder can turn bad quick. And there's a lot of people having gallbladder issues nowadays, and mostly it's because of diet. So if you eat a high processed diet, then the chances that your gallbladder is overworking is pretty high. But unless you're seeing an issue, you're still in a place where you can just shift your healthy practices to healthier habits, healthier practices, and restore balance to everything, right? If you see yellow, go get your labs drawn. I don't care if you go to a doctor or you use an Everlywell, just get your labs drawn, figure out where your markers are, and if they're within a healthy range. And if they are on the edges, make sure you talk to an alternative holistic practitioner, okay? Someone like myself, because conventional science and conventional medicine does not see an issue when you're at the low or the high part. Until you cross those lines, there's not an issue. In alternative medicine, there's an issue. And you're in a place where you can rectify said issue. You don't have to wait until it gets worse. You can fix it. So, you see yellow, lab work, let's get it fixed. Okay? Black, tar, a maroon or red, it indicates bleeding in the GI tract. Couple of things, remember? Charcoal turns your poop black. Iron can turn it kind of a black reddish color. So if you're taking an iron supplement, expect that your poop's going to be black. If you have had Pepto-Bismol, guess what? Your poop's going to be black. If none of that applies, it's another incident where call your doctor. You need to have a checkup. White means that there's a pancreatic issue. What does this mean? You're struggling to absorb healthy fats, any fats. So your joints might ache. You're going to have issues with like lubrication on your skin, things like that, right? Fat helps our body move things through the body, right? Oils help lubricate. And not just bones and skin, everything within our system. It helps liquefy. It helps work with your water. So when things are flowing through your body, it's not sticking anywhere. And it sounds really gross, but like seriously, you guys, our inner structures aren't much different than just mucosal linings. If you don't have lubrication, then there's things that can get stuck in the mucus, right? Can get stuck in the linings. So we need fats to help our body, right? Warmth, growth, boobs, butt, cushion. And yes, even if you are strong and your body fat is very minimal, you still have fat, and you have fat for a reason, because it protects our inner structures. It helps things flow. It does everything. It does its job well, and we know when it does its job well because we are able to move without pain, or at least significant pain. Okay, and when you tap on something, you don't bruise very easily. It's because you have the proper amount of skin, fat, and muscle around your bones, okay? This is something that you definitely want a doctor's intervention for. If you're having issues absorbing fat, it typically means that there's something hormonally out of balance, so you need to make sure to get it checked out, all right? Very last thing, clay-colored stool. This indicates that there's something seriously wrong within your liver. Scientific, it's that enough bile is not mixing well with the intestinal content. There's an imbalance that needs conventional medical intervention, okay? Or at least an evaluation to find out what's happening. Maybe there's an herbal remedy for it, but a lot of times what I've found is in this case, you've hit the point where you need a conventional doctor and you need someone quick. So, just to summarize this, if you have green stool, first start with looking at what you're eating. Too many greens, not enough of, grains and potatoes. Restore that balance. You still have an issue? Doctor. All right, so we talked about odor. And effectively, a lot of times what you can see when you start a transformation, and this is the case with urine, this is the case with poop, and this is the case with your sweat. When you start a transformation where you are going from a place where you don't have a lot of practices that you have innately integrated into your life that are healthy habits, yet you are adding them in and transitioning and just transforming your life so that now you're living and the practices that you have in place day to day. Things like, when I talk practices, you guys, here's what I'm talking about. We have a healthy practice where we wash ourselves, we brush our teeth, we do our hair, we put makeup on, some of us. We do our nails, we pick our clothes out, right? We have coffee, we eat. Those are healthy practices. We have them already there because we practice for life, right? We practice living for life. We practice health for life. So when I talk practices, and specifically in this situation where you're going from not 80% plus healthy, which is all I teach, is 80%. We're human beings. Reaching 100% is not going to be 100% of the time. So strive for 100, you're going to hit 80. All right? So when you're going from a place where you're not hitting that 80 on a consistent basis to where your practices are now designed to easily integrate into your life and in such a way that now you're hitting 80% healthy every single day without even thinking about it, that transition takes 12 to 16 weeks. So during that time frame, your pee is going to stink, your sweat is going to stink, and your urine is going, or your poop is going to stink. Especially if you are going from a diet that is highly processed, highly refined, to a diet that is highly healthy. That transition is probably the stinkiest one on the planet. Literally, you will clear your house and there's nothing you can do about it. It is the way that it is. You might as well just walk outside every time you have to fart. And know that you're going to need to use the bathroom furthest away from everybody if it's an embarrassment for you. For the majority of my clients, the biggest issue is being at work or being in a public space. So just know, if you are embarking in a program, it's the beginning of the year, so this is something that is going to come up. If you're embarking on any program where you're doing anything drastically, this is going to happen, and it's going to be really bad, okay? Not bad in the sense that you need to back off because your health is at jeopardy. Your body is expelling and cleansing and detoxifying. That's where those terms come in. It's clearing out the gunk and the crap it does not need. Pun not intended. So know that as you're embarking on various healthy strategies, healthy practices, incorporating them into your life, when you incorporate a lot at one time, be prepared. Once you reach that 12 to 16 week mark, usually for a lot of my clients, it's over by 8 weeks. And I like to take things slower than normal, because in my mind, the slower we integrate habits in, the easier it is all around. It is traumatic and drastic for us to go from unhealthy to healthy, drop of a hat. It is very traumatic for our body. And especially given today's climate with COVID and the flu and everything coming out and attacking us this season, you're putting your immune system at an unnecessary risk, rather than taking a step back and saying, okay, here's where I want to be, here's what I want to do. So each week I'm gonna add this little tiny component so that by the time I hit 12 to 16 weeks, I am fully integrated, I am eating 80% healthy, I am exercising, and my life is 80% healthy. My practices are 80% healthy. And now I get to practicing over the next 3 months, actively, consciously, so that I can cement everything in and move on about my life with just healthy practices as an everyday occurrence that I no longer think about. They just are what they are. You crave sweets, instead of going and grabbing a pastry, you turn around and you grab a piece of fruit. Sound weird? It's happened to every one of my clients. Everyone. You know why? Because when we teach our body, our conscious self, what the subconscious signals are, it's so much easier, you guys. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to contact me. I will make sure to include graphics in the comments below. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create a different post, because a lot of times the comments on the live, they cover up the video. So I will, and Facebook's being stupid. They're not allowing me to post comments that you guys can just go in and see without watching the video. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just my Facebook. But anyway, I will post them up so that you guys have them as an easy reference. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful Monday. Have a fabulous week. For our challenge winners, I got your boxes. I'm still waiting for one more thing, so you might get something in a couple of weeks. They're kind of lazy about it. been a few weeks, so, you know, I'm going to send them out without this. But I got your boxes ready. They will be out later today. I'll chat with y'all tomorrow. And yeah, if you have questions, you have concerns, let me know. Go be healthy, you guys. Learn to listen to your bodies. Take a minute today and just listen for one signal. Figure out what it means. How about that? I'll chat with you later. Bye.